Streams of ignorance flow through each life. Through samsara flow laughter, tears and strife. Rest be mindlessly read delusion, burning on and on in illusion. For the Dhamma to study, we're grateful. Concentrate deeply what this useful. Knowing clearly there's nothing but Dhamma. From the bonds of suffering we are free. For the Dhamma to study we're grateful. Concentrate deeply what is useful. Knowing clearly there's nothing but Dhamma. From the bonds of suffering we are free. Dòng thác vô minh ta luân hồi, có khổ đau có tiếng cười cùng nước mắt. Vô minh luôn sâu dày nơi chúng ta mù quáng, ta đắm chìm trong bên mê. Đến với Dhamma bớt u mê tan dần si, giúp cho ta thêm giác ngộ về cả pháp. Ngoài cả pháp không có gì cần liễu tri. Hết vô minh dứt hoàn toàn mọi khổ đau. Đến với Dhamma bớt u mê tan dần si, giúp cho ta thêm giác ngộ về cả pháp. Ngoài cả pháp không có gì cần liễu tri. Mãi tri ân ánh sáng của Dhamma.
everywhere.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับท่านอาจารย์
สวัสดีครับท่านอาจารย์สวัสดีครับ
Recording in progress.
Dạ, con xin chào cả nhà.
Đi
Không biết
kha
là
cha.
cả nhà mình có ai có câu hỏi gì không ạ? À, 08 ơi, thế thì 08 sẽ dịch nhé. Nếu mà có gì thì mình sẽ tham gia hỗ trợ. Không, tức là dịch tiếng câu hỏi Việt sang Anh nhé. Nếu mà
Ok.
có vấn đề gì thì mình sẽ hỗ trợ.
U Thanh không biết U có muốn đặt câu hỏi cho Achan không ạ?
Qua câu hỏi kia rồi chị Tâm Bạch trả lời, bây giờ cô chưa nghĩ được. Chỉ có cái điều cô muốn nói là khi nghe Pháp ý, mà có những chương trình thì bao giờ cũng rất là hưng phấn và rộn ràng, nhưng mà khi nghe thì nó trôi nhiều quá. Cứ phải mở đi mở lại.
Sadika Achan and John and Sarah mother of her tiny Tom would like to share her comment when she listened to the Dhamma. She is very excited, and after that she almost forgot everything. Almost she forgot the things that she listened. So could you help her and explain a little bit to encourage her to listen again and again? Thank you very much.
So this is why we have to listen again and again, because usually we always forget what we've heard or what we've read, and so quickly think about other things such as preparing the meal or tidying the house or going to work. So many things we think about, and we forget about what is the truth now. We forget about the realities now. So this is why just listening once or twice or very occasionally is not enough. We have to come back and listen again and again. And it's like this for everyone, not just for Tiny Tam's mother. So I encourage you, keep listening, keep considering, keep discussing with your family and your friends, because this is a way that there will gradually be more considering about what is true, not what is just conventionally true. And it doesn't matter. It's just natural that we will quickly think about all sorts of other topics, just as usual in the day. So nothing to be concerned about, but just keep considering and listening and understanding, so it becomes more and more ingrained and part of one's daily life. Like now, we think about the other people around us, the situation of listening to Dhamma, but what is the truth? What is the absolute reality at this moment? What is life really now?
Thank you, Sarah. Không biết là U có thêm trao đổi thêm với cô Sarah không ạ?
Mai hỏi thì cháu cứ cho cô trao đổi cũng được.
Vâng, con mời U.
Đấy, thì cô chỉ muốn là tất nhiên là biết là cái tiến trình này nó diễn ra rất là dài và không thể một lúc một còn mà mong mỏi được, cho nên chỉ muốn được trình bày là cách nghe thế nào để cho nó được hiểu rõ thêm.
Thank you, Sarah, for your explanation and your encouragement. I understand that, I also understand that is the development of right understanding. It takes time, long time, and we cannot expect that we could understand more than we can understand it now. But could you please share the way to listen effectively to, I'll say, to help us to help me get something in detail, or
I
is
think
yes. Sorry.
I think the point is not how many hours we listen or how many discussions we attend, but there has to be the careful considering. For example, we hear so often that it's just seeing which sees what is visible now, and we repeat it. But what does it mean that it's just seeing which sees now? Is there any real considering of what this means at this very moment? Because in truth, is there any I or you or Tiny Tam or anyone else that can be found that experiences anything? Or are there just moments of seeing which arise by conditions, experience what is visible, see what is visible, and then gone? Life is just for a moment, just a moment of experiencing, one moment of experiencing after another. So there has to be the considering about what this means when we hear that there is no self. What does it mean now? So the point is that it's the careful considering that is really precious, because many people can listen and read many texts, and it may go in one ear and out the other ear, as we say in English, quickly forgotten. But what about the considering about the meaning that at this moment there are just those realities that experience an object and those realities that don't experience anything? What does this really mean? Like now, in truth, is there a Tiny Tam? If there is no thinking about Tiny Tam, your daughter, is she there? Or only at the moments of thinking about Tiny Tam? So this has to be considered very carefully, what is meant, because what is seen is just what is visible. What is heard is just sound. But so quickly, there is the thinking about the colors, the shapes, the idea, this is my daughter, this is Tiny Tam. But is it true? Is there really someone there? So consider carefully again and again. And even now, when we're excited to be here or with our friends and to listen, what is the excitement? Is the excitement kusala? Is it understanding, or is it lobha? Usually there are different moments of being so happy to be with our friends with attachment and excitement, and moments of wise considering, a little understanding. But without any understanding developing, we just assume it's all good because we're having Dhamma discussion. So even one word, excitement, has to be considered carefully. Is it a feeling, or is it attachment, or is it understanding? What is it? So my encouragement to you or anyone is to listen with careful considering about the deep meaning, so that it is a little deeper each time. And this is the way it becomes ingrained, not so quickly forgotten. So let me ask Tiny Tam's mother, what is life now? What is the truth now? What is the excitement now?
Thanh có ở đó không ạ?
Cô có đấy, nhưng không thấy người dịch nữa nào.
Cô có nghe được câu hỏi vừa rồi của cô Sarah không ạ?
Ông vì toàn tiếng Anh cô nói không có người dịch, hay là cô để nhầm
Thế
cái
cô lại ở bên
dòng
phòng,
nghĩa.
cô ở
Thế
bên
thì
phòng chính rồi. Cô không sao, cô phải sang
Thảo,
nghe
Thảo nào thấy lần trước cô
phòng
phải
tiếng Việt
sang
ạ.
không chẳng cái gì.
Phải
Thế
sang
thấy
nghe
Hằng
phòng tiếng
nói
Việt thì
cô
mới
lại
được.
nghĩ là không nhập. Thế thì tắt đi ạ? Tắt
Không,
đi sang tiếng Việt. Hay cứ
Cô
để
Tâm ơi, không vào được cái phòng dịch đó cô Tâm ơi.
thế.
Lan Khánh đang cố gắng thuyết phục người mà không vào được cái phòng dịch, nó cứ chuyển
Sorry,
sang tiếng Anh
Sarah,
à.
because somehow she couldn't get into the Vietnamese Zoom to listen to the translation. And so she didn't hear any of your explanation. What a shame.
Perhaps she can listen afterwards. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, we can still ask her, even though she missed some of the explanation, we can
Yes,
still
right.
ask her what is the Dhamma now that she is so happy to hear. What is the truth at this moment?
Vâng, cô có hỏi là sự thật hiện giờ là gì, pháp hiện giờ là gì, và cái mà cô gọi là phấn khởi
sống.
khi nghe pháp, và hiện giờ nó bản chất nó là gì ạ? Cô Thanh còn đấy không ạ?
Chắc là U lại ra mất rồi. Bây giờ thấy có bạn thẩm nghiệm ở trong này đúng không? Thẩm nghiệm.
Dạ có em chị ơi, có em ạ.
Tại hôm nay chắc là hôm nay em mới có dịp vào pháp đàm có Achan. Em có muốn tận dụng cơ hội để có những trao đổi và được nghe những cái lời giải thích từ Achan và ông bà.
Dạ em cũng biết ơn lắm, mà bây giờ em còn chưa có cái thắc mắc gì á chị.
Thì em trả lời thật sự hậu Thanh cũng được, theo cái hiểu của em với những gì em nghe.
Dạ lúc này cô Sarah hỏi là cái gì có thực hiện giờ đúng không chị?
Đúng
Cái
rồi.
gì là pháp hiện giờ, cái gì là cuộc sống hiện giờ, cái gì là sự phân tích hiện giờ.
Dạ cái gì?
Để trước chị giới thiệu qua một chút. So I'd like to introduce Nghiệm, who is quite new to the discussions, but he's been already, I think, a few times, and he usually has many questions. So I have invited him to ask his question, but he doesn't have any right now. But he will try to answer the question that you asked to Tiny Tom's mother. Thôi, mời em.
Dạ có, em đang ở Zoom tiếng Việt, em vừa nghe chị nói xong. Dạ.
Mời
Dạ,
em,
theo
em cứ nói đi.
Dạ theo em hiện tại thì em thấy là cái gì em còn làm nên cuộc sống, hay là thì em thấy là các pháp bây giờ, các pháp là thực hiện giờ.
Em nói các pháp hiện giờ là gì?
Dạ thì nó nhiều, em chỉ cần trả lời một cái thôi là
Đúng
hay là
rồi,
sao?
đúng rồi.
Dạ bây giờ thì có cái xúc chạm ạ.
I think the Dhamma here is touching now.
Okay, so there is touching now, and what is touched now?
Dạ, cái được xúc chạm. Dạ, em vẫn chưa hiểu là cái được xúc chạm là gì ạ.
Cái xúc chạm thì nó xúc chạm, ví dụ như là cái xúc chạm thì bây giờ em đang xúc chạm về cái gì? Thì em
Dạ
tự
bây giờ
chạm vào.
Dạ bây giờ là em xúc chạm trên bàn ghế và trên cái đệm ngồi của mình.
I think it's when I'm sitting on the chair, it's the chair to it's been touched now.
And if there is no thought of the chair, no idea about the chair, what is actually experienced at the moment of touching?
Dạ đó là tính cứng mềm ạ.
In reality, understand that is a hardness or softness.
And at the moment of touching hardness, when hardness is experienced, is there any chair at that moment?
Dạ không ạ.
No, it's no chair at that moment of touching.
Okay, so hardness is experienced now, and if there is no thinking about the chair, is there a chair there?
Dạ không ạ.
No, it's not chair. Yeah.
Okay, so just hardness is experienced, the reality, and it falls away instantly and so quickly through the mind door. There is thinking about the idea of I am sitting on the chair, but actually there are just moments of touching and experiencing the hardness or the heat through the body sense, and then through the mind door, ideas of I, ideas of the chair, ideas of sitting on the chair. And is there an I or you that is touching or experiencing the hardness?
Dạ không ạ.
No, I don't think it's I. Okay.
Are you sure?
Dạ theo lý thuyết là như vậy. Theo lý thuyết thì chắc ạ.
Follow up with, I have learned that it's no I.
Right. So we've learnt it and we've heard it. And when it's just learning and repeating, but not enough considering, then as Tiny Tum's mother says, quickly forgotten, and straight away it's I again, sitting on a chair. So this is why there has to be a lot of careful considering. What does it mean that there is no I, no chair, just moments of experiencing, moments of touching, moments of experiencing hardness, moments of experiencing heat, with so much thinking in between. So this is coming back to understand life now, understanding that what is true at this moment is just different realities, experiencing an object, one chitta, one moment of consciousness at a time, accompanied by different mental factors, different cetasikas, and different realities which are experienced only through the sense doors, like the hardness or the sound or the visible object. And then so much thinking through the mind door. I don't know if you can hear it at the moment outside our window. We have a jazz festival in the street, so it's quite noisy. But actually, it's just sound that's heard. But so quickly, there's an idea of people playing different instruments and different kinds of music, and the street and the festivities, so many stories, but actually only sound that is heard. And the rest is all thinking about the details of the sounds.
Dạ vậy em muốn có thêm một cái ý muốn hỏi là khi mà cái tâm quả nó kinh nghiệm cái đối tượng bất khả ái tác động lên thân căn á, thì có nghĩa là bây giờ mình không có kinh nghiệm cái đối tượng bất khả ái tác động lên, mà có nghĩa là tự thân ở trong cái cơ thể của mình nó tự đau nhức, tự khó chịu, thì cái đó là không có cái đối tượng bất khả ái tác động lên, thì mình sẽ hiểu như thế nào ạ?
Chị muốn hỏi rõ cái câu hỏi của em, tức là khi mà em bị đau thì là em nghĩ rằng không có cái đối tượng bất khả ái đó,
Dạ,
hay
đúng rồi.
là
Có nghĩa giống như là bây giờ là một cái quả mà nó đổ ra thôi, có nghĩa là nó nó có nghĩa là giống như là trong cái cơ thể của em nó bị đau nhức về cơ xương khớp á, thì nó không có đối tượng bất khả ái tác động ngay bây giờ, mà nhưng nó tác động từ trong quá khứ thì có, mà bây giờ thì không có, và nó để lại cái hậu quả là cái thân thể mình có nó đau nhức thường xuyên ấy. Thì em chưa hiểu cái đoạn đó.
Then I'd like to raise a question about at the moment of Vipaka Chitta experiencing the unpleasant the object. It means that when we have a painful feeling, so if that is not the moment of the unpleasant, if the object is not unpleasant, and after that we still feel that it's a painful. So could you explain furthermore about this? Why at the moment of not experience the unpleasant object, but it's still painful after that?
Because of thinking about it again and again. So the Vipaka Chitta, accompanied by the painful bodily feeling, just arises for one moment, experiencing the unpleasant object, and then is gone. And then there are two more Vipaka Chittas, but not experienced with painful bodily feeling. Only one moment is experienced with painful bodily feeling. And after those chittas in that process have fallen away, and there are some further life continuum chittas, then there is thinking through the mind door, thinking about the unpleasant feeling, obsessing about the unpleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling. And actually at those moments there is unpleasant feeling, but it's unpleasant mental feeling with dosa, not the bodily feeling at those moments, the thinking and not liking it at all, again and again and again. And in between, more moments of painful bodily feeling, but it's still just one moment compared to countless moments with dosa and unpleasant feeling through the mind door. So most of the problem in life is not the moments, the brief moments of unpleasant bodily feeling, but all the thinking with dislike and unpleasant mental feeling again and again with regard to what was experienced or imagined. Sometimes there's not even the painful bodily feeling. For example, we may hear from the doctor we have a disease or a problem, and there may not be any painful bodily feeling, but still there can be thinking and obsessing and worrying and so much unpleasant feeling. But it's not the Vipaka Chittas, it's the dosa with unpleasant feeling that is causing all the problem, building up the story about this disease or this problem and so on. Does that answer your question, Nghiêm?
Thank you, Sarah. I think that's what I got from his question is that he somehow still confused about what it means, the unpleasant object. To him, it's still a story. For example, he thinks that when he got the disease, that is the moment of the unpleasant object. So like he got the problem with rheumatism, he said that when he was having that disease, but when he didn't have that anymore, but then he still had the unpleasant bodily feeling. So I think that's some confusion in his understanding there. Thank you.
Because we mix up the conventional situation and the reality all the time. So the who knows, for example, now whether what is seen is a pleasant or unpleasant object? We have no idea at all. And it's just experienced so briefly. And then there's thinking with attachment or thinking with aversion that follows so quickly. And the moments of when there is painful bodily feeling, when an undesirable object is experienced, it's just for an instant and then gone. Maybe soon afterwards there's experience of a pleasant object, but there's, I think because we've heard the word disease or cancer or this or that, there's thinking and dwelling on the story about the unpleasant object or the unpleasant bodily feeling. But actually the experiencing of the unpleasant object is just for a moment with unpleasant bodily feeling and then gone. And usually it's all taken for my experience, my disease, my pain. And so there's clinging to the self, clinging to something, clinging to I. And this is a condition for more unpleasant feeling again and again, because it's not what I would like. So I think we talked last week about khandhas and how there's clinging all day from morning to night to pleasant feeling, looking for pleasant feeling, trying to experience pleasant feeling. And this is why there's so much unpleasant feeling, so much unhappiness which follows, because there's clinging to what has gone already and minding about what is unpleasant instead of just understanding what appears at this moment. Like now, is there any unpleasant bodily feeling? Let me ask Niem.
Dạ, theo em là có ạ. Vì em bị cái xương khớp thì nó kiểu nó đau nhức thường xuyên ấy. Nên cái việc mà cái thọ khổ thì nó sẽ xuất hiện, nó lặp đi lặp lại rất là thường xuyên.
I think there is a painful now because I have a painful feeling in my bone for many years ago. So it's so often, quite often now. So I think there's a painful now.
And how long does it last each time there is the painful bodily feeling?
Dạ, tùy vào cái cơn của nó. Có khi là nếu như mà cái tâm mình nó rành rang, thì cái việc chú tâm vào đó nó sẽ nhiều. Mà nếu như mà mình bận rộn, mình làm những công việc khác ấy, thì cái tâm nó sẽ quên đi cái đau đó.
It depends on the day. If I'm not busy and I think about another thing, so it's not painful bodily. But when it's I concentrate for it, so it's quite painful. I feel that
because of thinking about it and dwelling on it and taking it for my bodily feeling and my bones. So it seems that it lasts, but actually each citta, the vipaka citta with bodily painful feeling, just arises for one moment only and then is gone. But there's the thinking and concentrating on it, so it seems to last longer. But this is the thinking, the dwelling on it, the obsessing on it. What about at moments of kindness or friendliness? Is there any painful bodily feeling when at moments of kindness or friendliness?
Dạ không ạ, ngoài những cái khoảnh khắc khác thì không có.
No, I don't think that
không
at
xuất
the
hiện.
moment.
What about at moments of seeing or hearing? Is there any painful bodily feeling?
Dạ đúng là kiểu như một khoảnh khắc thì chỉ có một tâm thôi, nên những cái thấy cái nghe thì lúc đó thì cái thọ khổ thì nó sẽ không được kinh nghiệm.
What you said is right. At the moment of seeing or hearing, no painful body.
What about at moments of smelling or tasting? Is there any painful bodily feeling?
Dạ cũng không có.
There's no painful at that moment.
What about when there's a pleasant bodily feeling, for example, when lying down on the pillow or experiencing comfortable warmth? Is there any unpleasant bodily feeling?
Dạ cũng tùy lúc ạ. Có khi nằm thì nó vẫn có thọ khổ, có khi thì không có.
Depends on the time when I lie down and still have a painful body feeling, but sometimes it's not. Yeah, not all
Not
the
at the
time.
same time. At the moments of pleasant bodily feeling cannot be unpleasant bodily
Dạ đúng rồi.
feeling. So each one just for a moment. And what about at moments of reflecting on the Dhamma, of wise considering, or moments of understanding? Is there any painful bodily feeling?
Dạ không có, cùng lúc thì nó không có, nhưng mà trước sau của cái khoảnh khắc đó thì nó chực chờ nó xuất hiện.
Yes, at the moment of right understanding, no painful body feeling, but it's before or after is quite often.
What about at moments of annoyance or moments of confusion or moments of anger? Is there any unpleasant bodily feeling at those moments?
Dạ không ạ.
No, yes, you're
No.
right.
So it's just for one moment in the body door process of cittas only. But whenever the mind door cittas arise, no painful bodily feeling. Whenever it's the eye door, the ear door, the nose door, or the taste door, cittas arising, no painful feeling. So because of thinking and dwelling and concentrating on it, it seems to last, it seems to be there all the time. But actually, it's just lasts for a moment and then gone. So what's the point of concentrating on it or focusing on it? Isn't it more precious to consider the needs of others, help others, develop understanding, not think about it or obsess about it so that it seems to last so long? And at the moments when vipaka citta arises, it has to be like that. It's the result of karma. It can't be changed. But it's not my vipaka. It doesn't belong to me. It's just a moment of experiencing and then gone. So there has to be understanding, means letting go, beginning to accept whatever is conditioned at this moment or any other moment. So there has to be the more truthfulness, more understanding, to let go of the clinging to whatever is there, even the clinging to the idea that I have painful bodily feelings so often during the day. We don't realize how much clinging there is when thinking like that, thinking so much about my pain that I need to concentrate or focus on, so much clinging that conditions more and more thinking about it. My disease, my ailment, my painful bodily feeling, it's not the understanding of reality at this moment. So the less thinking, the less dwelling, the more understanding, the less one will be bothered by the painful bodily feeling. And it's so common, it's part of life. There have to be moments of bodily feeling, but just for a moment and then gone. Like when one has a cold or flu, like one of our friends was unwell in Thailand. Actually, moment of bodily feeling, but it's all the thinking then dwelling on it. Poor me, and I can't join this activity, I can't do this, and I'm so unwell. That is the real problem. always taking whatever is experienced for oneself. Any other questions, Mian?
Dạ không ạ. Bây giờ em cảm ơn cô Sarah đã chia sẻ.
Thank you for your explanation.
The less clinging to I and my problem, my pain, my difficulty, the more easily life will flow, just with a little more understanding, a little more contentment with whatever is conditioned. Perhaps Ajahn would like to add more or ask you some questions.
Ajahn, are you there?
Oh, yes. What about one's own understanding after hearing about this and that? Firm confidence or more confidence of the truth, what Buddha said about anatta? It's not just a word, but it's all about everything now. All, one by one, each one is anatta, so all are there now, must be anatta, no one and no thing. Just consider word about the truth. We have to translate.
Yes, we are translating accordingly.
Just,
we
you
don't.
can
You can
carry
keep
on, Ajahn.
speaking.
We can go on and on.
Yes, please go
On
ahead.
and on and
Okay.
on.
Just one word, anatta. What is anatta now? See, it's not just the word, but whatever is there, each moment, and what is the meaning of anatta. See, just think about it carefully, consider it carefully to have confidence of the truth, what is right and what is wrong. Is there atta now? See, just the word atta, we have to consider carefully. What does it mean? All are anatta, but is there atta now? What is right and what is wrong? Beginning to understand what is right and what is wrong, to have confidence of the truth. The truth is the truth. Nobody can change it at all. So, is there any question or the answer for what is atta now? To understand clearer what is meant by atta. Is there atta now?
Dạ em mà chưa hiểu, em mà chưa rõ câu hỏi lắm.
Có. Ajahn hỏi
Dạ
có.
có ạ.
Yes, I think it
Dạ
has.
đúng rồi.
What is atta now? If there is atta, what is atta now?
Dạ cái ngày hiện giờ là cái ngày muốn, cái ngày là sao ta? Dạ cái ngày muốn được muốn được làm cái gì đó để học hỏi, để được hiểu biết thêm, để được phát triển hơn ạ.
I think the self to do something to get more understanding.
The self, what is it? See, we have to ask and
Dạ đó
ask
là
and
cái
ask.
sự mong cầu của mình.
It's my expectation.
Okay, what is expectation and what is my, not the other? This is the way to understand what is there around from birth on and on, every day. To understand the truth of it, that it's only just thinking out of that which is seen and heard and smelled and so on. But what is atta? Each one is different. It's there, and when it's not there, no one can find it again, cannot look at it because it's absolutely gone, never to return. Just consider life
from moment to moment, from birth? Is it not as we are talking about, what appears and in a moment and then gone? Everything. Just a moment ago is not this moment. The object which is seen is different. The sound which is heard is different too. So it's atta when one takes it for something, or it's anatta when it's no one at all. It's just a reality. It's there by condition. No one can make it right at all. It's there all the time, like seeing right now. While we are thinking, while we are talking, there is seeing. So it's seeing, atta. It's there all the time. It cannot be atta because whenever there is hearing and sound, there must be no seeing. Consider what is true, little by little, to understand the meaning, the truth of anatta, no one at all. What is there is just in a moment and then gone. Is that true? Just consider what is true and what is not true in life from moment to moment. And the truth can be understood little by little. Like now, what is true is seeing a reality, a moment of seeing, not a moment of hearing. Otherwise, we just keep on talking around about this and that. But what about the firm confidence of just what is true and what is not true? So now, is there anything real or true? Without consideration, how can there be understanding of the meaning of the word and what does it mean? And is it a question to be thought about carefully in order to really understand the answer? Why is the answer? Why is such answer? No one knows how much ignorance is there in a day. Every moment, no understanding of what is there as it is. Take it for something seen or heard or smelled all the time. Is this true? Is this the word of the truth that Buddha realized, enlightened? Each word is so true. No one can change the way it is. Learn to understand the meaning of one word because it represents the whole truth of a reality. Is that should be heard about what Buddha said. So what's the meaning of atta and anatta? Is it the same or different? Is it there now? This is the way to learn about what is there now to be known as it is. Or shall we talk about other things? No considering?
Dạ, em thì em chỉ mới hiểu sơ sơ về như vậy, về ngã và vô ngã thôi ạ, và các cái thực tại qua sau cửa giác quan, chứ đến bây giờ em vẫn chưa kiểu mức độ hiểu biết của em nó vẫn chưa đủ sâu sắc á, thì em chỉ có nghĩ là mình vẫn quan sát các thực tại thông qua sáu cửa giác quan, và mình cũng không có mình cũng không để bị cuốn theo những cái câu chuyện, những cái đối tượng, và mình chỉ có là suy xét và học hỏi từ cái việc là quan sát cái thực tại qua cái 6 cửa giác quan đó. Thì không biết là cái cách hiểu của em nói như vậy nó đã đúng chưa?
I have a little bit understanding about the reality and the atta and anatta, and I just think that I'm considering through the reality through the six mind door as doorways, and it should not be attached to the experience of through the doorways, and I don't know is this the considering that is correct or not. So please explain furthermore to have a better understanding. Thank you.
What about the meaning of atta and anatta? It's just a word or a reality, the truth of whatever is there, unknown before. Hearing the teaching, considering about it, what is atta and why it's not atta, anatta. Two different words, atta and anatta. What is real, what is true, what is atta and what is anatta. See, otherwise it's just talk about the word, but what is atta and what is anatta in truth? Is it there now? Atta and anatta.
Dạ, bây giờ không có cái ngã thì em hiểu rồi.
Now it's not self. There's no self. So I understand that.
What is not self? And how can it not be self?
Dạ, vì nó là vô ngã, là vì hiện tại nó có các pháp sinh lên và diệt đi ngay ạ. Không có
But
gì
all the Dhamma here is
tồn tại.
arising and falling away, and nothing will be last. So it's the
Okay,
meaning of anatta.
for example,
Dạ, ví dụ như là cái xúc chạm hoặc là cái nghe ạ.
For example, is touching now or hearing now.
what falls away, what arises?
Dạ, âm thanh sinh khởi, âm thanh và các cái duyên của nó sinh khởi rồi diệt đi ngay ạ.
The sound is arising and falling away.
So what is it? It arises and it falls away. What is it? Is it real? Is sound real?
Dạ, nó là thực ạ.
It's real.
Is it your voice or just a sound?
Dạ, đơn thuần là âm thanh thôi ạ.
It's only the sound. Yeah.
So is it hearing?
Dạ không ạ.
No, Achan, it's not hearing.
So who hears?
Dạ, có cái tai và có cái tâm nghe ạ.
Because of there's a ear, I have an ear, and there's a hearing.
So is there anyone hearing?
Dạ không ạ.
There's no one here.
Okay, so this moment, is it you hear or it's just hearing?
Dạ, bây giờ là đơn thuần là cái nghe.
Only hearing hears.
Okay, what about seeing?
Dạ, cái thấy về các cái đối tượng và các cái trạng thái, cái lộ trình khác thì tương tự như vậy.
I think it's similar to the seeing and the other experience.
Okay, what about thinking?
Suy nghĩ nó cũng như vậy ạ.
The thinking is the same.
Okay, you mean that seeing sees, right?
Cái thấy và cái thấy và kết hợp với lại là cái mắt của mình nữa, có nhân duyên của nó.
That's a condition by the eyes and seeing. They have their own condition.
So seeing now is real, right? No one seeing sees, is that right?
Dạ đúng rồi.
Yes, it's right.
Do you know seeing? What is
Dạ
seeing?
có biết ạ.
Em nói sao chị chưa nghe được? Em có thể nói lại được không? Chị chưa nghe được.
Cái thấy là gì ạ? Cái thấy là gì? Có cái định nghĩa hoặc là khái niệm này nó khó đối với em ạ.
It seems difficult for me.
Is it true that seeing is a reality which arises just to see?
Dạ đúng rồi ạ.
Yes, it's right.
Seeing is a reality?
Dạ phải ạ.
Yes, it is.
What kind, what type, what characteristic is seeing that is real? There are many kinds of reality. So what is seeing? A kind of reality. What about seeing not to be anyone at all? Is seeing different from that which is seen?
Dạ cái thấy là thực tại kinh nghiệm cái được thấy ạ.
Seeing is the reality can see the visible object.
But it's not known now as it is, because what appears is just that appear as visible object which is seen. Is that right?
Dạ đúng rồi ạ.
Yes, this is right.
Can the seeing be understood little by little as it is, as no one?
Dạ có thể ạ.
Yes, it's possible.
But without understanding what seeing is, can there be a moment of attending to the characteristic which arises and see as just it's a reality which arises to experience an object, not sound, but its proper object, the visible object which impinges on the eye base? So, what is atta and what is anatta at moment of seeing? At moment of seeing, what is atta and what is anatta? Is it now careful considering?
Em có nghe được câu hỏi không?
Dạ vẫn còn ạ, dạ vẫn còn. Lúc này em tắt mic. Dạ. Dạ, ở Khánh Các thấy thì cái vô ngã là không có ai cả, mà nó là một thực tại sinh lên và diệt đi để nó kinh nghiệm cái đối tượng thị giác của nó.
At the moment of seeing is anatta, no self, because it's only reality arising and falling
Cái
away
ngã thì
to
em không có
experience
rõ.
the object.
And
Cái
that
ngã
which
thì em
is
không có rõ.
seen, is it atta or anatta?
He said it's anatta.
So now you have the
Dạ
understanding
không.
very firm about all dhammas, whatever is real is anatta, right? Or is there any doubt?
Dạ, chắc chắn thì chưa.
It's not firm understanding about this.
Can it be firmer?
Yes.
How?
Yes.
Dạ, được nghe giáo pháp và mình được có cơ hội suy xét kỹ hơn ạ.
I think it's to listen more and consider more about this.
That's it. See, the development of understanding has to be a moment of hearing, considering about what is there, little by little. When we talk about it, a little more of the truth of it, understanding that what is that which arises and experiences, no matter at any time, cannot be anyone at all, because it's conditioned just to arise to be that, not the other, and then gone. What is permanent now?
Dạ không ạ.
Nothing permanent.
Okay. What about at moment of having food? What are there? From moment to moment?
Dạ có cái xúc chạm, có cái việc cái tâm cảm nhận cái vị ấy.
I think
Nhìn
there's a
có cái thấy.
touching, tasting here, seeing.
Yeah. All in one's life, no one there at all. That's right. Listen more and more about what is real right now in order to develop the understanding by itself, by right understanding and wise considering, not by anyone. The more hearing, considering, there can be more understanding, closer and closer to the truth directly of our reality, which appears now, by conditions, not by attention. Is there any intention now?
Dạ, với bản thân thì có ạ.
Yes, I think it is.
What reality is it?
Dạ, suy nghĩ ạ.
It's a thinking.
Again, please.
It's a thinking. Yeah.
Thinking.
Yes.
Chetana at moment of thinking is Chetana at moment of seeing as well. And this is the way to understand a little more about everything in order to let go doubt and the idea of self when it's not known clearly what is there as it is. Is there intention in a day?
Trong ngày hay là Trong ngày hay là trong này hả chị? Trong này đúng không?
Đang hỏi trong ngày.
Dạ có ạ.
Yes, there's the Chetana in the day.
That we don't know we know not enough about intention, because intention is a reality which arises with each moment of experiencing whatever, even right now, appearing. That's why we learn a little more, because without understanding what is there in a moment, there must be only what is there by thinking only, not understanding what is there a little more as condition for seeing to arise, or whatever arises. When the reality which experiences an object, there is many realities as mental factor arising together, even in a moment. So is there other reality arising with seeing right now? For example, feeling.
Dạ có ạ.
Yes, there's feeling at the moment of seeing.
What kind of feeling arises with seeing?
Là dễ chịu, khó chịu hoặc là trung tính.
Achan đang hỏi khoảnh khắc của thấy ấy.
Còn nó có cái thấy thì không, nếu như mà không có trong
Cô
trường
Tám
hợp
cứ
nhất
dịch
nhất.
cho bạn ấy.
Dạ, nếu như không có thuộc cái trường hợp nhất định nào thì nó có cả
Cô
dễ
Tám cứ
chịu,
dịch
khó
bình thường
chịu
để cho
và
Achan
trung tính.
giải.
Em nói lại nghĩa là I think there's a three kind of feelings, unpleasant, pleasant and indifferent feeling.
So at the moment of seeing, what feeling is there? What kind of feeling is there? Now there is seeing. Understand this moment. What is there now?
Khoảnh khắc thấy của ngay bây giờ hả chị?
Khoảnh khắc thấy.
Dạ là khoảnh khắc của dễ chịu ạ.
It's a present feeling, Achan.
Arises with seeing together, or what?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
So we don't have Buddha's
Dạ,
word as our
nếu mà em
refuge
có biết
to
về cái việc
understand the truth
cái
of
tâm
what
sở
is
thọ
there.
nó sinh khởi cùng với các tâm khác. Bây giờ đang ngồi trong cái trường hợp của cái thấy thì em. Yeah.
I think he doesn't know that he thinks that the three kinds of feeling arise with seeing.
That's why can we talk about a reality at a time, like what is there, for example, one by one, seeing and then feeling and then something, in order to understand reality is as not self. Otherwise, it's only thinking about it, not understand each one, that how can it not be taken as anything as self of something, but it's just a reality. Understand what it's meant by a reality. In order to learn how many realities are there which can be known little by little. Because in words we can talk about many cittas and cetasikas arising together, but what about now? Even one heard about feeling, how many kinds, but what is there now? Can it be known? Otherwise, when will it be known? For example, feeling. If we don't talk about different moments to be studied, to learn about it, what are that which cannot be taken for self or anything permanent at all, little by little. So we begin from a moment of experiencing an object, what is the object and what is that which experiences many different kinds. Thinking is not seeing, not hearing, and so on. to understand that in truth, what in a day is only the arising and falling away of all these realities by conditions. To understand little by little how it arises by conditions. Not anyone can make it arise at all. It's there already, but it's not known, and thinking about other things instantly. And how can there be the understanding of what is there, which is there to be known, because it's gone instantly? That's why what appears in a day as nimitta, learn to understand life about different realities arising by conditions, to have understanding of no one, no self, little by little, gradually develop. Or what would you like to talk about? Any reality or story? Any story? We can talk about anything and learn to know what Buddha taught about it, not one's own idea.
Perhaps for Niem, it would be useful to talk a little bit more about the different Vedana, the different feelings, because I think there is still some confusion. So, for example, at the moment of the first chitta in the eye-door process or any sense-door process, the chitta arises with neutral feeling when there is the adverting to the visible object or sound or whatever rupa is experienced. And at the next moment, there is the moment of seeing or hearing or smelling or tasting or touching. At the moments of seeing, hearing, smelling or tasting, no matter whether the chitta is kusala or akusala vipaka, no matter whether it experiences a desirable or undesirable object, depending on the karma that has conditioned that experiencing at that moment, the feeling is always neutral. So seeing always arises with neutral feeling. The same for hearing, smelling, and tasting. When it comes to the moment of bodily experience, touching, as we discussed before, at that moment, the Vedana can be pleasant or unpleasant feeling. If it is a desirable object that is experienced, the touching arises with pleasant feeling. When an unpleasant object is experienced, the touching, the bodily experience arises with unpleasant or painful feeling. We refer to these as bodily feeling, but actually it's anama, it is Vedana, but it is the Vedana that just arises with that moment of bodily experience, the moment of touching the object. So it's just at that one moment, not at the moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting. And the next vipaka citta arises with neutral feeling. The following vipaka citta usually arises with neutral feeling, but can arise with pleasant feeling. And then one more kiriya citta arises with neutral feeling until there is the arising of either the kusala or akusala cittas, the jhavana cittas. So depending on the nature of those cittas, they can arise with pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, or neutral feeling at moments of lobha, pleasant feeling or neutral feeling, moments of dosa, unpleasant feeling at moments of moha. Without lobha or dosa, the feeling is neutral. So we can see that during the sense store process, the unpleasant feeling, the unpleasant, what is referred to unpleasant bodily feeling, is just for that one moment of bodily experience. And other than that, there is no more painful feeling at all. So this shows how anatta the Vedana are. Even if a very, very desirable object is seen, still the seeing just arises with neutral feeling. And it's only when the attachment follows that there is pleasant feeling. And then when there is thinking about it, dwelling on it, more pleasant feeling with the excitement and the enjoyment, more pleasant feeling. But the moment of seeing just arises with neutral feeling and is gone. So we live in the world of stories and ideas and nimitta about different objects experienced, taking them for something all the time. Even the moment of painful bodily feeling, taken for something instantly, thinking about it, dwelling on it, thinking about the disease or the problem or the issue, not understanding the reality as anatta, just arising by conditions and then gone instantly. So this is why Ajahn is stressing we have to understand one reality and at a time and carefully consider it in order to begin to understand a little more how it is conditioned and anatta, not in anyone's control. And the reality is so very different from the idea we have about it, such as the pain in my bones or the disease or the frequent unpleasantness, because most of the time we're just living in the ideas, the stories about it, taking it all for my experience, my disease, my pain. Do you have any questions, Ngiem, about the feelings or about any of the other points that Ajahn was making? Or you asked earlier
Dạ, em rất
something
là cảm
about...
ơn Ajahn và cô Sa đã chia sẻ. Em cũng không có cái phần thắc mắc gì trong những phần chia sẻ của hai cô ạ.
Thank you for your explanation. I have no further question about this.
Mà tiền thể thì còn 15 phút thì em cũng xin hỏi thêm cái việc mà về cái nhờ các cô chia sẻ thêm cái phần mà kiểu như mình có cái ý niệm mà có cái ý định muốn xuất gia ấy, thì giống như mà mình vẫn còn đắn đo là kiểu như mình phải có một vị thầy hay là kiểu như mình vẫn mong cầu về những cái nhân duyên nó phù hợp như của kiểu như mình có vị thầy rồi có tăng đoàn đấy, thì em nhờ các cô chia sẻ thêm để em được hiểu thêm về cái việc xuất gia ý nghĩa thực sự như thế nào.
I'd like to, in this occasion, I'd like to ask about the nekama, the meaning of real nekama. If there's a person who would like to ordain to be a bhikkhu, so what is the real of the meaning of the
He also said that he himself is thinking about ordaining, but he'd like to hear about all the things related to going forth, becoming a bhikkhu, and also many conditions like having a sangha and a preceptor and that.
Usually people think about nekama in terms of renouncing the home life and giving away their worldly possessions, for example, and living the life of the bhikkhu. But the Buddha taught that the true meaning of nekama means the renouncing of akusala, So, for example, at a moment of understanding, at that moment of understanding, there is the renouncing of ignorance and attachment and aversion. So, in the deepest sense, nekama refers to this moment when there is renouncing of akusala, not by a self, but by conditions, by understanding. So, for example, we learn about the different parami. Nekama parami is one which has to develop with understanding, renouncing akusala, especially ignorance and wrong view at this very moment. So one may live in the forest, one may live as a monk without any family or worldly possessions, but when there is clinging, there is no nekama. When there is taking the realities of life for self, for something, no nekama at that time. So the true nekama has to be at this moment, with renouncing of akusala by understanding. Perhaps Jonathan may like to add more.
What is the what is the main reason you are thinking of ordaining?
Giờ đó là hiện tại con cũng muốn là mình mình dấn thân hơn về con đường tu tập và trên con đường phát triển hiểu biết của mình.
Currently, I'd like to devote myself for the path of the development understanding.
And what do you mean by devoting yourself to the path of development of understanding?
Dạ là kiểu như là mình dành toàn tâm toàn thời gian để mà trong cái việc mà nghiên cứu và suy xét về những cái giáo lý mà Đức Phật đã chia sẻ.
I think I can spend all my time for studying the Buddha teaching.
Well, that's partly true, that one may have more time to spend studying the teachings, but does that mean that there are better conditions for the development of understanding just by becoming a monk?
Cái đó thì con nghĩ là thêm một cái phần duyên cho mình thôi. Ví dụ như bây giờ thì con còn có cơ hội được tiếp xúc với những cái giáo lý mà Đức Phật đã truyền bá từ xưa đến bây giờ, thì cũng là con nghĩ là đó thêm là tạo thêm cái duyên, là thêm một cái ba la mật nữa cho mình tinh tấn hơn trên cái việc mà mình tránh xa những cái pháp bất thiện và mình vun bồi những cái pháp thiện hơn cho mình.
I think the better condition to have more kusala, more wholesome chitta and dhamma, and less akusala dhamma, and have better condition for the path of leading, following the Buddha teaching.
Yeah, what kind of kusala do you think there would be more of as a monk? And what kind of akusala would there be less of as a monk compared to being a layperson?
Dạ, thì con nghĩ thì nó vẫn là giống nhau về cái thiện pháp và bất thiện pháp, mà nhưng kiểu giống như là mình theo gương của Đức Phật và các cái tăng đoàn của ngài ấy, nên mình cũng có trong lòng nó cũng trong cái tâm ý của mình nó cũng rất là hân hoan với cái việc đó, nó cũng rất là hào hứng với việc đó.
I think it's a path to following the Buddha path and disciple his disciple to follow the teaching, and actually it's not quite different between the lay person and monk, but I still want to follow the path, follow the Buddha and his disciple.
Yes, well, I appreciate your sincerity and your interest in the Dhamma, but I think we need to understand that following the path of the Buddha and his disciples means developing understanding of what is appearing at the present moment. And this does not depend on whether one is a monk or a layperson. What are the factors that are a condition for developing that understanding? They are factors such as hearing a good explanation of the reality of the present moment as the Buddha explained it, and carefully considering that explanation. And of course, another factor is having developed understanding in the past, so that there is already an interest in the path because of the accumulated understanding that accompanies one in this lifetime. So it's important to appreciate that the development of understanding is not dependent on a particular situation, but it is dependent more on the accumulated tendencies from the past and also the opportunities in this lifetime to hear and consider a useful explanation of the Buddha's teaching, an explanation that is suited to our particular level of understanding and also our particular wrong views that have also been accumulated. Many people have the idea that, for example, going to a quiet place will be a condition for more kusala. But they often find, indeed, that in a quiet place, what appears more is tension, stress, and different kinds of dosa. In fact, we were talking to a fellow student of the Dhamma the other day in Bangkok, who retired early from his work, his job, because he wanted to devote more time to studying the Dhamma. I asked him what his experience had been since giving up work, and he said that in fact what he'd found is that as soon as he got into what he thought was a quiet and relaxed situation, he noticed there was more agitation. And so he learned very quickly that the reason he had stopped work was not the right reason, not necessarily the right basis for developing better understanding. And it's the same idea that people have about becoming a monk or about going to live in a quiet place. So I know that Ajahn will want to say some more on the subject, so I'll finish there and pass over to Ajahn, but I would urge you to give some thought to whether your expectations are soundly based or not. Thank you. And I'd like to hear Ajahn have some words on this. Thank you.
Is there any difference between two persons? One just want to be a monk, and the other understand one's his or his own accumulation from hearing, considering about the truth, that is so very subtle. It's not just only in this life that anyone can attain arahataship by becoming a monk, because the lay people can understand the truth up to the degree of anagami, having eradicated so the low level of ignorance and understanding enough. But you see that it's just the wish or the hope, not understanding even who's the Buddha and what is his teaching. Just want to be a monk. And the person who study carefully and understanding the truth little by little, that he has accumulated only just the understanding that the Dhamma is so very deep and all depends on conditions. It does mean that to be a monk, one can attain enlightenment. So what is the difference between no matter who, hearing the truth, consider it, understand what is right and what is wrong, what is true and what is not true? So now, what is a monk? See, one wishes to be a monk, so for what? Hearing the teachings, or just wanting to follow the rule, or no understanding of the rule at all, but just want to be monk. So if you ask someone, would you like to be a monk? And he say yes or no, depending on his accumulation. But without understanding, or with understanding of the very precious life, just live everything as lay people and has the purpose to let go defilements and ignorance. So life, monk's life, is different from lay people life. At moment of waking up to before going to sleep, it's not just live as lay people, much different. So we have to understand the teachings of the Buddha. Otherwise, how can there be the understanding of whether this is the teachings of the Enlightened One or this is not the teaching of the Enlightened One at all? If there is no understanding, one may take that which is not the words of the Buddha to meditate or to try very hard to reach the moment of something different from now. See? That's why it has to be so truthful to the truth, sincerely, honestly, because Buddha taught his teachings to anyone who is able to understand it and develop the understanding little by little, knowing more and more, deeper and deeper, that this moment, why it's not known as it is, because it's so deep, even is there now, sees and hears, no understanding of the word of the Buddha as anatta, or any word like process. What is a process? See, process of what? Any word should be considered carefully to understand it. It's about now, daily life, but without hearing, considering, we just remember. So in order to have clearer understanding, what is a process? See, before becoming a monk, can there be any understanding of what's the word of the Buddha and what is not? Is it true? Should it be considered carefully, wisely? What is a process? You heard the word process. So what is it? Otherwise, it seems like you understand what you heard. But there must be the understanding of each word about the truth of the reality right now. So much to think about, to be truthful, to understand. The worthy of understanding the truth of what is there now, as it is. That cannot be known at all without hearing about it, consider it carefully. It seems like such thought is enough for me, it's understood already, but it's not at all. You have heard the word process. What is it? See, is this the word of the Buddha about the process and everything? The first moment of the process and so on. But what is it? Is it real? What is the reality at that very moment? That it can be known because it's there already as it is. Just consider the word of truth about it. That is the way to begin to understand the very subtle meaning, characteristic of a reality, which now appears, but no understanding because so very deep, so very subtle. Each word represents just mean the reality of that reality, but without considering, it's impossible to understand the truth. It's just the word. So, what about the inclination to become a monk? Seeing what is there in life as lay people, and it has to be truthful to the truth. Is there any seeing the danger of being attached with ignorance and hoping that when one be alone, there can be more understanding? Is it true? It depends on whether anyone would like to think of one of those ideas or just begin to consider the word of truth carefully about each word to be understood, because all dhammas are so very subtle. No matter we talk about whatever arises and falls away, but what is that which arises and falls away? It has to be one reality at a time to be known clearly. So, just the process. What is it? Process of what? Without considering it's heard. It's got the word, but what about the truth of it right now? That is so very subtle. Anyone who knows what process is? Or anyone who doesn't know yet what it is? Is it right now? If it's right now, you know what is it, so you say that it's right now. But the answer is right now without any understanding what is that right now. It's different.
Achan, I think it's a deep topic and we can continue by next week.
Yes.
Thank you, Achan. Anumotana for your
I hope there will be some answer.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes,
Sawadee krap,
Sadhika,
Ajahn. Thank you very much, Ajahn.
Anumotana. Thank you, John and Sarah.
Thank you, Achan.